All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Happy Hump Day Wednesday, everyone. I know it is later in the evening, but I'm hoping that you can join me for tonight's conversation about the 4 ways to be intentional about finding your joy. Before we get into that, I'm going to invite you to settle in for me or with me for the next 15 to 20 minutes as I share for tonight. As you come in and get settled in, I ask that you get a pencil, a piece of paper, a pen, so that you can take notes on the topic for tonight. If you happen to come in and see the replay, I do want you to hashtag replay, and also you can still leave your comments even after the live broadcast is over. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Before I do that, I do want to take this opportunity to introduce myself. I am Erica Salee, speaker, self-help author, and your transformation success coach, owner of True Synergy. And listen, I get super, super excited to be sharing these conversations because in this space and as a result of my personal coaching and professional development programs, I help women and organizations to figure out what is it that stands in the way of your success. If you decide that you want to move forward to create the best version for you or for your organization, your team, then what are those things? And then more importantly, what strategies can you get from me to help you to do just that, to go ahead and be as successful as you desire to be. And here's one thing that I do want to mention before we get started with the topic for tonight. One of the things that I recognize is that when we talk about moving into a best version, oftentimes we have to move stuff out of the way that hinders us from taking care of us. When we're weighed down and we're bogged down with stress, anxiety, frustration, and all the things that tend to weigh on us mentally, physically, and spiritually, then we cannot move forward and create whatever transformation looks like for us. And so I get excited also to be able to shift the narrative around taking care of self and allowing people to recognize just how important it is to do just that so that you can move forward and be that best version, whatever is calling for your attention to create better for yourself. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's topic. So if you have not joined me the rest of the week, this is night 3 of 4 ways to be intentional about finding your joy. So on Monday night, I shared the first way. Last night was the second way. And tonight I'm going to share way number 3. I will tell you that if you have not seen those conversations, then you can go back to my YouTube channel. You can also scroll through my social media feeds, Facebook and LinkedIn, to get those conversations so that you can string it all together and you can have all 4 of the ways by the end of the week. So, what is the third way to be intentional about finding your joy? The third way is actually to redirect your energy. I'm going to go in here and I am going to edit because I do see a typo here. So I want to make sure that you get it correctly. The third way is to redirect your energy. So let me share with you the first 2 ways just to do a recap in that space. And again, I'm going to encourage you to go back and check out the detailed conversations that I shared for each of the topics. So the first way was simply to just make a decision. Just make a decision. Just say, you know what? I want to be connected with joy. I want to be able to say that I am experiencing something that feels intrinsically good to me. So that's the first way, making a decision. The second way, and this is what I discussed last night, was to check your surroundings. And again, I'm not going to go into all the details on that, but I do encourage you to go back and get all the details on that one as well. So tonight, redirecting your energy. Well, what does that actually mean? So redirecting your energy means that you're taking your attention off of the thing or the people that really feel like they're draining you of joy, draining you of energy, and redirecting it or refocusing on something that makes you feel joyful, that makes you feel good, that makes you feel at peace. And so when I thought about this topic, one of the things that came to mind was that just about everybody that I know has one of these, okay? Cell phone, maybe you have an iPad, you've got a laptop. And so one of the things that I find myself doing is I have tons and tons and tons of apps on my phone and on my iPad. And so I don't use all of those apps. And so what I realized is that when I have all these apps on my phone, they could be draining my phone of energy, especially if the ones that I do use, that I don't close them out after I'm done with them. And I am famous for doing that. My kids always tease me and say, Mom, if they pick up my phone, why do you still have all these apps open? Because I've opened them up and I just let them sit. And so that's draining the battery energy from my phone, and we don't even realize it. And so when you think about that, well, what do? So I find myself going through and deleting some of the apps. I might open up or put an app on my phone, use it once or twice just in the moment for whatever may be happening at the time. So if I don't use it ever again, or there's time in between the next time that I use it, I really could delete it until I'm ready to use it again. And so when you think about that, it's like, okay, if I go through and delete the things that I don't use, that are not serving me well, and I redirect that energy. So really what I'm doing is I'm saving the energy in my phone for the things that I actually need and the things that are useful to me. So my question for you on tonight, way number 3, redirecting your energy, is to think about, what are the things that are really, really draining me? If I said to you, you know what, if you want to experience joy and you want to be intentional about that, what is it that's standing in your way, or who is it that's standing in the way of you receiving that? And if you know that you are connected to this thing or connected to a person that is constantly taking away from your joy, your happiness, your ability to smile, your ability to feel at ease, your ability to feel at peace, then it's time to think about, how do you redirect or shift that away from whatever that is that's draining you. Now, you might say, okay, I hear what you're saying, but does it logically make sense for me? Because maybe there are people in your space who are close to you, and you say, well, yeah, sometimes they do drain me of my energy, but I really can't totally separate myself. I get it. So what you then think about is, well, how can I create? Now, this came up on Monday night. How can I create the boundaries? How can I learn to limit my time in the spaces that I know I'm in with someone who may be draining my energy, okay? Or who may not be as fulfilling to me as I want to be in the space that I'm in right now in my life. So think about that. And sometimes there are people that and I'm just using people as an example. So I don't want you to take away from this conversation and say, oh, she's talking about walking away from people. And so that's one example of something that may be draining your energy. I use this example, I don't know if it was last night or Monday night, but I'm going to bring it up again. And that is, sometimes when you're watching things or you're listening to things, it drains your energy. And so redirecting, like if you know that you're spending an exorbitant amount of time, here's an example. Not last year, 2 years ago. And I mentioned this, just how I was sort of like inundated in a news cycle. And I can remember when certain things were happening and I felt really passionate about it, I would pick up the phone and I would call Congress, right? I'd be calling congressmen, talking about specific topics or what have you, making my voice heard. And I can remember that after having gone through, let's say 5 or 6 phone calls, how I felt like my energy was drained just because of the topic that I was discussing, the passion that I felt about the topic, and what I was hoping would be done about the topic. And I realized that at a certain point, I had to redirect because I could just feel it. You know how you feel when you're stressed. You have this tightness in your shoulders. Maybe you get a headache. You might feel a little nauseous. You might just feel completely drained. Like I don't have the energy to take another step to do another thing. So that's when you know what? It's time for me to shift away from this. It's time for me to move my focus away from the thing that is constantly causing me to not experience the joy that I desire for myself. So, on tonight in this conversation, and whether you hear this live or you see it on the replay, I want you to ask yourself, what is it that I need to, or where is it that I need to redirect my energy? What's in my space right now that is absolutely causing me to miss the opportunity to experience a level of joy? Now, I read the definition of joy last night. It is the focus on well-being. It is actually the thought of experiencing something that feels good. So you're working toward whatever that sense of well-being is for you. So tonight, I want you to ask yourself that question. What is it that is in my way right now? Or what is it that I've been grappling with, I've been thinking about, and I know that I need to step away from it? And it might not be a person. It might not be anything that is connected with someone. Let me say it that way. As I said, it could be a number of things. It could be a person. It could be what you're listening to, what you're watching. It could be a thought in your head. And maybe that thought is, you know what? Well, why do you deserve to experience joy? Because you've done X, Y, and Z, or you made this mistake, or you said this, or you did that. And so your mind may be telling you that you don't even deserve joy. So redirecting that energy, maybe moving away from that thought so that you can move into a space that says, you know what? I absolutely deserve joy. You know, I may not be perfect. I may not have dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, but I absolutely deserve joy. So it's redirecting your energy away from draining thoughts. Another way that you can be intentional about finding your joy in this way, redirecting your energy, is noticing what you say. So if you're constantly saying things that are negative, that are against what would make you experience joy, well, you know, it'll never happen for me, or, you know, joy is for everybody else, or relationships is for everybody else, and oh no, that's just not for me. Think about how much energy you're spending on sabotaging what is possible for you. So redirecting your energy in that example is, you know what? Let me start to speak something different. Let me start to speak the fact that, you know what? I not only do I think and believe that I can experience joy, but I'm going to say it and know that as I say out of my mouth, I'm creating life. So that's just a couple of examples. So again, third way is to redirect your energy. And I do encourage you that as you listen to this, and I'm wrapping up this conversation, as you listen to this, I want you to ask yourself the question, like really be honest with yourself and say, what is it that's draining me? And where do I need to unplug from that and reconnect to something that is going to fill me, that is going to give me life, as opposed to allowing this thing, this situation, this person, this thought, these words to take away from my opportunity to experience wellness, joy, and just a sense of intrinsic excitement about myself, right? So think about that. That is the challenge for tonight. So as I wrap up the conversation, we've got one more night to go. So tomorrow night, I will share the fourth way to be intentional about finding your joy. Let me just tell you really quickly, you know, the catalyst for this conversation is when I think about what finding joy looks like for me right now, it is post-divorce, right? So for you, there may be something else, some other transition that you're going through in this space and time where you say, okay, if I'm in this space right now and I know that I need to find joy outside of this, then what does that look like? And this number 3, redirecting your energy, is part of the conversation that you get to fill in the blanks for whatever is happening in your space. So as I wrap up for tonight, I do want to leave you with a couple of announcements. I want to let you know that if you have not ordered your copy of my brand new Amazon #1 bestseller, I'm here. Now What? Finding Joy After the Storm. It is, in fact, available on Amazon right now, right at this very moment. And I know it's holiday time, and you may be thinking about the perfect gift to give to someone who may be pondering some things about, what's going on in their space right now. And so this book is what I call the gift that keeps on giving. I'm wearing a sweater right now that in a few months or next year I might not like the style. I talked about this last night or Monday night. I love candles, and eventually that wax burns out, the wick burns out, and all the things, and I'm not able to use that anymore. So when you pick up your copy of I'm Here, Now What? Finding Joy After the Storm, there are so many nuggets that you can grow from, learn from, kind of insert yourself into the stories that I share about my experience, and you can keep growing from it. So I do encourage you to get your copy. Again, it is now available on Amazon. And in addition, the companion program for the book is actually Finding Your Joy Live. We kick off on January the 29th. It is a 7-session program. I will tell you really quickly that if you are the woman who is perhaps going through separation, headed for divorce, maybe you're already divorced and you're trying to figure out, how am I going to make it after this is over? What do I do now that I'm in this space, which is what this book is about? You may be saying to yourself, oh gosh, the kids are all grown, they're out of the house, and now I'm trying to reinvent myself or invent myself. What does that look like? This program is for you. You may also be saying to yourself, you know what? I really don't make it a habit of practicing self-care because I think it's selfish. I'm going to tell you that this program is for you. There is a complete chapter in the book that is dedicated to self-care, because not only is it the thing or one of the things that helped me through this time in my life, but it's something that I practice on a regular basis. So if you are a woman who is eager to figure out what it means to unapologetically practice self-care on a daily basis, then this program is for you. And lastly, you might be saying to yourself, okay, I'm just ready to do something new. I'm ready to move out of this space that I'm in, and I'm ready to move into my next. I'm ready to move away from this moment of loss, whether it's loss of a job, loss of a marriage, another relationship, whether you're just feeling in a place that you're stuck, then this program is for you. So it is intended to do 3 things: to help you to process the ups and downs of your particular transition. I said mine is divorce, yours may be something different. It is also intended to help you to pivot away from the emotional strain that comes along with whatever that transition is, whether it's anger, frustration, confusion, whatever. And then the most important part is to push forward so that you can be intentional. There it is, the topic for tonight, about finding joy for your future. Okay. So the registration is open right now. You can go to truesynergy.org/finding your joy, and you can get all the information about the program. There's some Q&As out there. The investment pricing is out there as well. I do want to mention that there are options for the investment, that being a payment plan. So if you feel like you need that, especially now that we're in the holiday season, then do look at the instructions on how to take advantage of that. I do want to mention that space is limited. This is a very intimate space that I've created for those women who say yes. And so there are only a few spots available for the program. So you don't want to wait. If you know that this is you, then you want to take advantage of it and be a part of the program. Again, it kicks off January the 29th. And so I look forward to being able to connect with you in that space. So as I wrap up the conversation for tonight, I do want to invite you to come back and join me live tomorrow night, Thursday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the fourth way to be intentional about finding your joy. I do encourage you to invite a friend to be a part of the conversation. And again, if you come back and you see the replay, I do want you to hashtag replay and also to leave your comments, thoughts, aha moments about what you heard tonight. And then, of course, go back and listen to the other two nights with more information and share your thoughts on those as well. So listen, I look forward to seeing you all again real soon. Until I do, I want you to take care of yourselves and yes, be well.